What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and welcome to day 2 of the World Cup 2018 vlogs. I apologize in advance if this is not the best video. I've had a very exhausting day, so I'm going to try to do it as much energy as possible, but also quietly because people are trying to sleep. Anyways, but this was Group C and D. Kick off the day with France versus Australia, then Argentina versus Iceland for Group D, and they come back to Group C for, what was it, Denmark versus Peru, and then the last game was Group D, Croatia versus Nigeria. So I kind of curious as to why they did it this way, mainly because, I don't know, I feel like in the past, I don't know if maybe I'm wrong about this, and it has been 4 years, so I could have forgotten, but I feel like in the past they've normally done it where it's been one group each day. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I always feel like they kind of like keep it separated. Like, all right, so this group this day, or maybe they normally do like one group at a time. But I don't ever remember them doing Group C game and then Group D game and then Group C game and then Group D game. I don't remember them doing that. Whatever the case, though, 4 games in a day means that, I mean, that's the number of games that I wanted to do per video. So let's go ahead and talk about today. First of all, big story coming out of the France-Australia game for me is France is probably going to be the big disappointment of this tournament. I was asking my dad and a few other people that I work with about, okay, who do you think the dark horses are? Who do you think is going to go the farthest? Who do you think is going to be the big disappointment? And, some people said Spain for disappointment. A couple people said Brazil. But France was one that came up a little bit, and honestly, I had to agree. Looking at it at the beginning, looking at their friendly with us right before the World Cup, and they played a full lineup, and we played a bunch of kids, and even though they dominated the game, they couldn't finish. And we saw that again today. I mean, that front three, you've got Dembele, you've got Mbappe, you've got Griezmann. That front three is strong. You should be dominating games and finishing them off, but they couldn't do it. And that's honestly kind of the big story for me in this one, is just the fact that France are probably going to go out because they can't finish. And that's pretty sad considering the attacking power they have. So, yeah, it's crazy to think that France might go out, early in the tournament, but it looks like that's a big possibility unless they can turn this around. Whether it's Giroud getting healthy and he's going to be their big finisher, whether it's Griezmann stepping up or Mbappe stepping up, I don't know. But it was pretty shocking to see that they were not able to finish the few chances they got. On top of that, though, you do have to look at Australia and say they're not. I wouldn't call them favorites to be second in the group just because, I mean, I feel like it's a pretty well balanced group. Aside from, France should be the top dogs, even though they didn't really show out today. And then after that, I mean, you've got Peru, Denmark, Australia. Those 3 are pretty evenly matched. And Australia today showed a good resilience, but at the same time, they didn't really create anything. So I do kind of wonder how that's going to affect them going on. Are they going to look back at this game and say, oh, well, we defended well, we held France to 2-1? Or are they going to look back and be like, man, we could only get 1 goal, and it was because, one of the French defenders decided to be an idiot for a second and punch the ball? I don't know. They'll probably take the positives from the match if I had to guess, but it didn't really feel like they created a whole lot of momentum going into the next game off of this one. I will say big props to my main man, Conte. Man, he was crushing it. I mean, honestly, watching France play, they looked pretty good, but whenever Australia started to get a little bit of momentum, he's there. He's in the midfield, he's stepping in, he's winning the ball, he's creating counterattacks. Pretty much what he does for Chelsea. So, once again, very kind of the player that nobody ever talks about. Everybody wants to talk about, your Pogbas, your Griezmanns, your Mbappes. Conte's the engine, though. He's the one that drives the team forward. He's the one that lets those attacking players be more free to do what they do. So, I don't know. Just because I'm a Chelsea fan, I do want to give a little love to Conte. Anyway, So that's pretty much it for that game. On to the next game, Argentina versus Iceland. And honestly, I was pretty excited about this one because Argentina is a team that I would love to see slip up against Iceland. The team that, while they are a very hardworking and determined team, and we saw that in the Euros with the run that they made, they're still not that good. And a team like Argentina should be handling them easily when you look at the talent that they have. But at the same time, there are a lot of players on Argentina that I just do not like, so I do not mind seeing them slip up and draw against Iceland at all. I love that. That was fantastic. Honestly, it's kind of funny. I look at who are the two best players in the world right now, Messi and Ronaldo. What teams are they on? Argentina and Portugal. And I'm just like, I hate a lot of players from Argentina and Portugal. You got Pepe. Who's the other one from Portugal that I don't like? Not Bernardo Silva. I don't really care about Bernardo Silva. There's another Portuguese player. I can't remember who it is now. And then on Argentina, so many. I hate Marcus Rojo. I hate Mascherano. I hate Di Maria. Aguero, I'm indifferent about Aguero. Higuain, indifferent about. But I don't know. I find it funny that their countries are the ones that I just can't stand to watch because they've got some really either dirty or mainly just dirty players. I just can't stand dirty players at all. But yeah, the big story coming out of this game is not about Messi. I hate the fact that the media has to drum up this whole Ronaldo scores a hat trick and Messi, he misses a penalty, the pressure's on Messi. It has nothing to do with that. Iceland are just a team that are going to rough you up, and Messi is not a player built for that. So, honestly, he created a lot of chances. He was really involved in the game. He just couldn't finish his chances. So, the big story for me coming out of this one, though, is that watching Iceland play, they really do have a chance, once again, like they did in the Euros, to make a run in this. Mainly because of their grit and determination. They are such a hard-working team. I love the challenges they put in. Whenever they pick up the ball, they attack as a team. It's almost like watching rugby, which I find funny because Iceland is kind of known, the rugby team doing the haka and everything. They really do attack. Wait, that was New Zealand. Never mind. Ignore that last part. Like I said, I'm tired. I'm going to say stuff that's not right. Just ignore that last part. No, but it's like watching, you got a player on the ball, you got two players running simultaneously alongside him. So when he encounters an opponent, he can lay it off to somebody, and then he can lay it off to somebody else. I don't know, I loved watching them play because it wasn't fancy, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't all about the moves and Megs, all that stuff. Because frankly, I can't stand most of that stuff. When people want to be showboats, I don't know, sometimes it can be like, that was a good move, but most of the time people just do it to be show-offs. There's no other reason than to do that. Watching them play, they're not about that. They just want to attack you, they just want to defend well, they just want to be a good, solid team. And that's what they did. And they took a team like Argentina, defended well. Yes, it got pretty scary near the end for them, but overall they played very well. So I'm hoping they can continue with this momentum. It's a group that they can do well to finish second place in. Croatia and Nigeria are no pushovers. So if they manage to get a win or two out of these next two games, that would be very impressive in my opinion. So anyways, on to the next two games, both of which not quite the same quality that we saw in the first two. All four of these countries, are good teams. They have a couple players here and there that are good quality players, but it's just not the same. It's not France, it's not Argentina, so there are no big names in there. However, I will say both of them got pretty entertaining at times. The first one, Peru and Denmark, once again, as a Chelsea fan, I want to give some love to Christensen because I thought defended very well. But on the game as a whole, I feel like watching it is like watching a group of soccer players go up against a group of athletes, which I see several times at the high school level where I coach. You just see those teams that are not great soccer players, but they're just very athletic. They're strong, they're fast, they're physical. And that's what it felt like. Peru ran them over because they were just so much faster. But Denmark, good quality team, managed to get the win in the end. And frankly, I'm kind of glad because Peru had a bunch of punks who just wanted to flop. And God, in my opinion, if the headlines are not about, what's his name, Cueva, I think that's how you pronounce it, about him, first of all, yes, it was a penalty. But the fact that he has to pretend like he's injured after that to try to get the penalty, in my opinion, that should be like, okay, you know what, VAR, yeah, it was a penalty, but that's embarrassing. You rolling around like you just got the crap kicked out of you and all they did was just kind of drag your leg back. I mean, I wish they would take away penalties for stuff like that. Okay, yes, that was a foul, but your reaction after, I'm not giving you the penalty for that. In my opinion, it would just be so good. It would be nice to see players getting punished for stupid stuff like that. But then, on top of all of that, the stupid reaction from him, the fact that he manages to get the penalty mainly because of his stupid reaction, because the referee stops the play to look at VAR instead of letting it play out first. He goes to take the penalty himself, does some stupid little stutter step run, which I thought when you stop your run it's illegal. Apparently it's not anymore. And then just blasts it over the goal. I'm like, it serves you right. After everything you did, the little punk qualities that you showed, I'm so glad you missed, because that completely serves you right. And then, throughout the rest of the game, there are a few other Peruvian players that are just flopping, challenges come in, they're, I just got shot, and nowhere, holding their face when they got hit in the neck or something. So, either way, I was pleased with the result, just because I feel like Peru didn't really deserve it after most of their, childish reactions. But then we see kind of a similar circumstance with Croatia and Nigeria, in that once again feels like a bunch of athletes versus a bunch of soccer players, except I think the quality of Croatia is better than Denmark. And so you can see where Peru and Nigeria, probably similar in style, a little bit, just the speed, the pace, the aggressiveness, the willingness to just sort of run at you with no care at all what happens. But then you compare Denmark and Croatia, and while Denmark does have a couple good players, Croatia just around the field is a better team. I mean, they have more quality, they have more ability to move the ball, and so I think it's funny to see the comparison between these two games, how similar Nigeria and Peru are in their style of play, and then Croatia and Denmark similar in their style of play, but Croatia just has more quality, and so they easily handled Nigeria. Nigeria never really had a chance in the game. I think at one point they were saying that there hadn't been a single shot on target, and Croatia was still up 1-0 because of that deflection in. So, both of these games were not, I don't think, as highly rated as the first two games, just because, like I said, there wasn't a big name country in there like France or Argentina. But I think it's going to be interesting to see going forward how these games affect the teams involved, because second place is clearly up for grabs. You got France narrowly winning against a pretty resilient Australia team, and now you've got Peru and Denmark, both of them fighting pretty hard. That's going to get entertaining. And then you got Argentina and Iceland drawing in the first game, and then you've got Croatia easily handling Nigeria. That's set up for, you got France and Iceland, both teams that feel like they can make it to the next round, but now all of a sudden Croatia's on top because they won their no wait. Did I say France again? I meant Argentina. You know what I mean. It's late. I need to go to bed soon. But whatever the case, it's been very entertaining. It wasn't as entertaining as the first two days, the first two group stages, but in my opinion, it's still a lot of fun. There's still a lot to talk about, and just the games themselves have been entertaining for the most part. Refereeing decisions today were a little bit worse, not as good as the first day, but it's still being called fairly well. There's still moments where I'm like, that was a good decision from the referee, and on top of that, the players are giving it their all. I hardly look out there and see some players just kind of like, whatever, except for Ronaldo, of course, because that's just his attitude. But I don't know, I love it whenever I get to watch these teams and watch these players representing their country and putting the shirt on with pride and playing their heart out. It's so good to see, and I feel like it's what makes this sport great. So, all in all, very exciting second day. I feel like I talked about everything that I needed to. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so that's it for me. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on today? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like, subscribe for future World Cup vlogs, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.